also they're trying to get open source banned. So there's a big push underway to try to ban open source as being too dangerous.
You think this is a bullshit argument?
Yes. Well, yes, yeah. I think this is a very bad, evil. Yes. You've got Google that's got their own model. You've got basically OpenAI, which is a new company but already quite large, and then it has a partnership with Microsoft, and so Bing is based on it. So that's two. And then you've got a bunch of kind of contenders for that, and these are companies with names like Anthropic and Inflection that are newer companies but trying to compete with this. And so those are, you might call those like right now the big four, at least in the US. So there's that whole side of things. That's the company side of things. And then there's an open source movement, right? And so then there's all these people basically building open source AIs. And those are coming out really fast now. There's like a new one every week that's coming out. And this is just code that you can download off the internet that does sort of a smaller version of what these bigger AIs do. And there's open source developers that are trying to develop basically free versions of this. And some of those developers are very determined to have AI actually be free and uncensored and fully available to everybody.
So OpenAI was like meant to be OpenAI, open as an open source. It does seem weird that something can be a non-profit open source and somehow transform itself into a for-profit closed source.
And then there's a big fight happening in Washington, D.C. right now, where the companies working on AI are trying to get what the economists call regulatory capture. So they're trying to basically get the government to erect barriers so that new startups can't compete with them. And also they're trying to get open source banned. So there's a big push underway to try to ban open source as being too dangerous.
We do open source some models, and we'll open source more models over time. But I don't think it's the right strategy to open source everything. If the models of today are interesting, they have some usefulness, but they're quite primitive relative to the models we'll create. And I think most people would agree if you make a super powerful AGI that has wonderful upsides, but existential downsides, open source may not be the best answer for that.
Too dangerous.
Too dangerous. Well, the case they make is if you believe AI itself is inherently dangerous, then the only safe way to have it is to have it owned and controlled by a big company that's sort of fused with the government, where in theory everything is being done responsibly. And if you just have basically free AI that anybody can download off the internet and use whatever they want, they could do all these dangerous things with it, right? And it needs to be stopped.
You think this is a bullshit argument?
Yes. Well, yes, yeah. I think this is a very bad, evil. Yes, this is a very. I think this is a turning point in human civilization. I think this is on par with the development of the book, right, or the microchip or the internet, right? And there were authoritarians in each of those eras that would have loved to have had total monopolistic or cartel-like or government control over those new technologies. So I call my metaphor for this is the Ring of Power, right, from Lord of the Rings. Right? The whole point of the Ring of Power was like once you have the Ring of Power, it corrupts you. You can't help but use it, right?
It is a strange fate that we should suffer so much fear and doubt over so small a thing.